Everything you know about pain is completely wrong. You have been dealing with pain completely wrong. And the reason you hate having pain so much and the reason you think it's a burden is because of the way you think about it. Since you were born, there are certain ways, certain mental models that were instilled in you to think that pain is something that's bad and pain is something that's going to weaken you. But that's all complete bullshit. All right? All the successful people you know, if you ever want to be successful, if you ever want to be like one of these people that you see on screen, you have to be able to deal with pain the right way. You have to be able to install the right mental models to be able to look at pain and look at suffering in a different way, in a different form, which will completely revolutionize your life forever. So let's start. What do these people all do? What do these people all do that makes them be able to go through immense amounts of suffering and pain and still get out on the other side a better person and not let it consume them and not let it change the way they are for the worse? So the first thing is you associate pain with suffering. You're associating pain with a bad feeling. You think, oh, I feel pain, therefore it's bad for me. Right? But let me tell you a secret. You can change out any of these to whatever you want. You can associate pain with anything you want. You can connect pain with anything. Right? Pain isn't necessarily bad or necessarily suffering. You could add anything other than this X right here, and that's what it will be in your mind. And that's how you will operate. Right? So you always associate pain with bad and pleasure with good. But why is that? Why have you always done this? Why is this hardwired within us? So let me kind of give you a history lesson. Recency bias. What is recency bias? Recency bias is that you are programmed into thinking in the time frame of days or weeks or hours. Right? Whenever something bad happens to you, you think of the immediate effect of that. Oh, I broke my arm. Oh my God, I can't play football tomorrow, right? Oh, I have a cold. Oh, I can't go to that party tomorrow. You associate pain with the closest effect of it. And that is what recency bias is. You're looking down here, right? You're walking and you're looking down right in front of your feet. And you're not seeing what's the road in front of you. You're not seeing the other side. You're not seeing the end. You're just seeing what's the next step, right? And of course, if you break your leg, then the next step is going to be really hard for you. Therefore, you think that, oh, if something bad happens to me, it's suffering, it's bad, right? So why is this? Why is this hardwired into humans? Well, if you got bitten by a snake, all right, this is you walking, and this is 200 BC. If you got bitten by a snake in 200 BC, and the snake is there, bite your leg, and you realize 1 month after, right? 1 month after you realize that you got bitten by a snake. It's over. You're dead. By the time that you have realized that you got bitten by a snake, you'd be dead. Right? So as a protective mechanism, you will always associate whatever is happening to you right now, whatever bad feelings you have, to the next effect. Because if you got bitten by a snake, like in this picture, in 200 BC, and you didn't react to the effect of that immediately, you'd be dead. Right? So the body is hardwired into thinking that you should connect the current experience with a subsequent result. That is how the body is hardwired. And that's why it's so hard to change that. Right? But you're not in 200 BC. And there are no snakes in your bedroom. And I'm not trying to roast you. So let's kind of rewire your brain a little bit. You need to make a habit of expanding your time frame. The most simple thing you need to do is make a habit of this. So this is the first thing, the first mental model that you need to install. Right? The first mental model that you need to install is you need to make a habit of thinking for every single task you do. I don't care if it's getting a coffee. I don't care if it's washing the dishes. I don't care. It doesn't matter what it is. But whatever you do in your life, think of it for the next 5 years. So if I did this thing for the next 5 years, how would it affect me? Right? If I wash the dishes for the next 5 years every single day, in 5 years, how would I be as a person? How would that affect me? Right? So you need to think this way with everything you do. Alright, so basically, an example I can think of this is, if you break your arm, it will suck in the beginning. You will fucking hate it, right? If you break your arm, it will suck in the beginning. You're like, fuck, man. Shit. I can't jerk. No, I'm joking. I can't play football. I can't do anything. My whole arm is broken. Oh shit, it's so bad. I feel so bad about myself, right? But after a few months, your arm will heal. And that arm that you broke will be much stronger than the arm was before. So if you did the same thing that broke your arm, you'd probably be able to withstand it. Because now your arm has healed, it's regenerated into a stronger version of itself. So basically, before getting started with anything, always ask yourself, if I did this for the next 5 years, how will it affect me? And this way, you will weed out all the low ROI activities. You'll weed out all the activities that are depriving you of your God-given potential. And you will find out about the things that are good for you. And you'll start doing them more and more. So let's say right now I feel like, oh, I want to lay in bed and I want to scroll on TikTok. Now, if I did this for 5 years every day, if I laid in bed and scrolled on TikTok for a few hours every day for 5 years, what would happen? Well, firstly, you'd probably have fried dopamine receptors, which will make you unable to focus on anything unless there's a GTA gameplay playing underneath it, right? So that's the first thing. You'd have fried dopamine receptors. You won't be able to focus on anything because you have been so overstimulated by scrolling. Oh, this is not funny, scroll. Oh, this is not funny, scroll. Oh, this is not funny, scroll. Right? So you're unable to concentrate on things that do not bring you instant gratification. Right? And what will this do? Well, it will most likely decrease your chances of success. It will decrease your chances of ever succeeding. Right? So that is the first thing. In this case, if I think about, oh, I want to lay on bed and watch TikTok, think of what will happen in 5 years. This will happen in 5 years. Your brain will be fried. And do you want a fried brain? No. There's not a single thing. There's not a single benefit of doing that, of scrolling on TikTok every day for 5 years. There's not a single benefit that I can think of. Right? And then, let's say some other time, you might feel like, oh, you know what? I saw this post on Instagram where he was reading a book, or I saw this millionaire reading a book, and maybe I should pick up a book, right? Maybe I should pick up a book and read a book once in a while. And then you think to yourself, you go through the same mental model. Okay, if I read a book for every single day for 5 years, how would that affect me? Okay, let's look at that. So first off, you'd probably be able to concentrate like a laser. Right, because reading a book is a long form way of learning. So you'd need to concentrate, and you train your concentration muscle. You'll train your brain into concentrating, and you'll be a laser. You'll be able to concentrate at will, and you'll be able to tap into the flow state whenever you want. Right? You'll also become a much better speaker. You'll be able to speak much more fluently. You'll have a much larger vocabulary. And you'll be able to express your ideas and thoughts in a much more cohesive and concise way. So whatever you're thinking, you guys know this, whenever you think something, but you can't really explain it to them, that's one of the worst feelings ever. And that is for that reason. Your vocabulary isn't big enough, and you're not a good enough speaker. Right? You're not an eloquent enough speaker. Third thing is, you probably have a mountain of vast knowledge, new acquired knowledge that you can use in any conversation. Let's say you go out for a coffee with a potential client. Oh, he might like motorbikes. Oh, I remember I read that book. Off of the like 100 books I read a year, I read that book and I saw something about motorcycles, and then you can immediately refer them to that, and immediately become a much more interesting person, and you can relate to the people you're talking to. If you want to talk to a woman, you find a woman really attractive, and she's like, oh, I'm into, I don't know, cooking, or I'm into riding horses. You'll probably have read a book that talked about cooking, or read horses. So your experience and your knowledge will grow immensely, and you'll be able to relate to a lot more people, and you'll be able to connect with a lot more people because of that, which, well, obviously will increase your chances of success by tenfold. Right? So that is the way you would think about this scenario. You have scenario number 1, TikTok. Scenario 2, Reader. How will these affect me in 5 years? And now it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear which one is the highest ROI activity. It's pretty clear which one will bring you the most success in life. Very, very clear. So whatever you do, do it in a high time frame. Think of it in months, years. Never think about the immediate effect. Train that out of your mind. It's hardwired and it's going to be really tough, but you need to train that out of your mind immediately. Never think about the subsequent effect. Never think about the most recent thing that will happen if I do this, or the soonest thing that will happen if I do this, right? Because watching TikTok will feel good. It will feel amazing. You'll be so cozy in your bed, scrolling, that video was funny, just liking videos like a fucking bot, right? But how is this looking 5 years if I keep doing this? Because that's the goal. 5 years is going to go by and you're going to be there, and then when you're there, you're going to forget about the good feeling you had, and everything that's going to matter, all that's going to matter is what you did 5 years ago. What habits you installed 5 years ago. That's the only thing that's going to matter. Right? That is one thing. That mental model. Second mental model is, I know you've heard of this, and it's you versus you. A lot of people always tell you it's you versus you. Don't compare yourself to anybody. It's you versus you in this game. The only people you should win against is yourself. Nobody else, right? If you're better than you were yesterday, you won. This is the biggest bullshit and the biggest horseshit you will ever hear in your life. Alright? This is to make you feel better about you making insignificant moves in your life. Now, this is the raw truth, and you will hate it. But this is the truth. This is the raw truth. No filter. The reality is that it's not you versus you. Right? You want it to be you versus you because it's so much easier to be a little bit better tomorrow. So easy. Right? But the guys you're competing against, the guys that want the same cars, the guys that want to provide for their family as well, did you forget they're also competing in the same economy? Because they're also there. And if you don't look at them and if you don't see them, you're going to be moving in isolation. You will have no idea where you're going. And you will think you're making progress, but then when you get into the real world, you'll realize, oh wait, I haven't actually done anything. Because you've only gotten a little bit better every day compared to yourself. Right? Oh, by the way, let me make a side note first before we move on to the you versus you. Now, it won't be like you're gonna have to do boring things all the time. So it won't be like, you might think, oh, it'll be so boring because I have to force myself into doing these things all the time. No, that's not the case. It will not be boring all the time. You won't have a boring life. You won't sacrifice your life. Because a lot of people say, oh, why are you sacrificing your life for money? If money is going to bring you happiness, why not be happy right now? This will not sacrifice your happiness. That's bullshit. Right? Because research shows that it takes 21 days, approximately, for some more, for some less, but it takes approximately 21 days of consistently doing something to make a habit. So sure, it will suck ass for a certain amount of time. It will suck ass for a certain amount. In the beginning, the first 21 days, it will suck ass. You will hate it. You'll have to force yourself. But after that time, you'll actually love becoming a better version of yourself. You'll fall in love with becoming a better version of yourself. You'll fall in love with pain. It'll become a habit. You won't feel right if you don't do it. A lot of people that go to the gym know this. In the beginning, it's super hard. You hate going to the gym. But if you went to the gym for 3 months consistently, the 4th month, if you don't go to the gym that day, or if you don't work out that day, you'll feel horrible. Something doesn't feel right. So now you've fallen in love with something that's gonna bring you success in the future. You have rewired your brain. Suddenly you love becoming a better version of yourself. And this is what you need to get at. So it won't be like it will suck all the time. That's bullshit. Don't even think it will. It will suck for a bit, but then you will love becoming a better version of yourself. And that's when you have hit the golden point. That's when you're going to be unstoppable. That was just a side note. But yeah, let's get back to you versus you. So let's say you're in a boxing fight. And the reason I use this picture is because I always refer this to a boxing fight. Let's say you're in a boxing fight and you're getting beat up. You're getting beat up bad, right? I'm talking 10 rounds. He's punching you in the face. You have a black eye. You're bleeding from your nose. Your coach is standing there like, oh shit, I'm about to throw the towel in, right? You're getting smoked. And then suddenly, in the 11th round, you see something. You're like, hold on. I feel like shit. I feel like absolute ass. But so does my opponent. And you realize that your opponent, suddenly, he does this, right? He has his guard open, or he has his guard closed, and then he does this. Bare face. His arms are too tired and he gives up. You see he loses morale. You see he gives up. You see it's free to go. You can punch him in the face and knock him out. You can win the game. You can win the match that you thought you were losing for 11 rounds. Finally, you can win the round. You can win the match. What do? Well, obvious. You'll punch him as hard as you can in the face. You'll punch him as hard as you can in the face because you will seize your opportunity to win that match. Regardless of how tired you were. Regardless of if your arms were spaghetti. You will seize that opportunity and you'll punch him in the face. You will get this adrenaline. You will get this push. Right? And you will ignore all the sensory informations. You will ignore your body completely. You will push through to give him that last punch that will win you the match. And this is life. This is life. This is every single day that's happened. Every single day with everything. If you're trading, every single loss you take, every single loss streak you're on, every single time you've blown your account, guess what? All the people that you're competing against, all the people that want the same resources as you, they're feeling the same feelings. And guess what? Some of them, they let their guard down. What do? They quit. Just like the guy in the boxing match did. They quit. They let their guard down and it's free for the taking. The only reason you don't see it that way is because it's not as immediate. In a boxing fight, it's really immediate. It's in your face. But this happens all the time. It's just that you don't feel it. Right? It happens all over the world. Whenever you're feeling bad feelings, so is your competitors on the other side of the planet, working for the same resources as you, making online money. So this is your chance. Meaning, whenever you feel a bad feeling, think, this is my chance to get ahead of the competition. Because everybody's quitting. And these moments, the hard times, is what's going to weed out the winners from the losers. Very important. The hard times is what weeds out the winners from the losers. So these moments is what separate the winners from the losers. And if you just change your mind into thinking, I'm going through a hard time, nobody will follow me, instead of thinking, oh, I'm going through a hard time, it's so sad, I can't do this, I feel like quitting. Everybody else feels like quitting too. So you need to think, okay, this is my chance to get ahead. This is my chance to give him that last punch, to knock him out and win the match, even though I thought I was losing for so long. Right? So that is the second mental model. You have two mental models now. You have you versus competition, and you have recency bias. So if you just install these two mindsets, you'll be unstoppable. You will completely have changed the way you think about pain and suffering. You'll completely change the way you act when pain and suffering will inevitably come your way by using these two mental models. So, bottom line is, I lied. I completely lied. Remember when I said you will fall in love with pain? Complete lie. You won't fall in love with pain. You'll fall in love with the things that used to bring you pain. And that guy will be the new and improved version of yourself. Your new improved version of yourself will be the guy that loves improving himself, that loves self-improvement, that finds joy in the things other people find hard. And that's when you will become unstoppable. So if you just use these two mental models, you're going to be an unstoppable beast, and you're going to get ahead of everybody else that's fighting for the same resources. And this is how you win. This is how you win. You reprogram your mind. So if we go back to the beginning, all these people that you see on screen, this is how they think. This is exactly how they thought every single time they've gone through hard times. And that's why they're on my screen. That's why you know who they are.